My God, I love that commercial. Time to make the donuts. Remember that? You guys from the East Coast all remember that commercial from when you were kids, the Dunkin' Donuts guy. Yeah, sorry I'm a couple minutes late here. I totally overslept. I had to get the dogs out for their walk. So yeah, I didn't even got time to put my glasses on. So yeah, so good morning from sunny and beautiful Wenatchee, Washington. We have our fires are gone. We have snow in the hills now. It's becoming beautiful again. I can't believe it's been that long. We totally, not you guys care or not, but we skipped fall completely. Like we went from summer to fire to winter, like that. We had no real fall here, but anyway, let's talk about some stuff today. I'm a little bit fired up about a couple of things. One is this. I actually owe. So I wrote to Jeremy from Color Up yesterday, because the day before I talked about the video he did with his kid, where it was kind of how a dealer would play kind of thing, and his son was kind of playing it like field play, like kind of all over the place. I think what's coming, a little bit of fallacy in there kind of stuff, but he obviously, right, it's like, okay, I didn't like the video, so he wanted to reply to me, and I gotta say this in all honesty, right, because he makes a great point. We're having a little private conversation because it's interesting that you didn't like that one, but you'll say that it's okay for Ed to say, or for example, as an example, it's okay for him to play by feel. And the thing I don't really make, and again, I say this a lot to you guys, I don't always speak as clearly as I could. This is a live show, right? So I'm not like reading from a script. I don't practice any of this stuff. I just say what's on my mind as I say it. So it may not always be clear, but I know a lot of guys like Ed and like Bo Parker and other people, Jeff from Mid-Atlantic, will play what they call kind of a feel system, right? It's not only they don't really play a strategy. It's more of a what's happening at the table kind of a thing. And I give them a pass. And Jeremy called me out on it. He's like, "You're giving those guys a pass." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." The reason though is because when they're talking about playing by feel, they're talking about themselves. Like Ed will say, when I'm throwing the dice and I see what I'm doing and I'm off today, or this is what I'm seeing myself throw today, that's where my betting starts to go. Right, he starts to bet what he's throwing, and again, a lot of guys say the same thing. Gargoyle said the same thing too, right? As a controlled thrower, right? The guy, and for you guys that are practicing or trying to become better at throwing the dice, if you think, or if you can see that you're throwing the dice in a certain pattern, that's the pattern you're going to bet. And it may not be the same every day. The 66 may not work today. It may be outside today. That's what I mean by. I'm okay with those guys saying it, but the regular Joe that walks up and goes, well, feels like a cold table, or it feels like the 10's rolling from person to person, that person trying to chase it, I think is going to have a problem. That's what I meant when I said, right? I don't like those kind of on anything. I don't like it on Baccarat. I don't like it on blackjack videos. I don't like it on roulette videos. I think that people who say they're going to chase what's happening will chase it forever and never catch it. It's like trying to catch a chicken. That's what I didn't like about the video, not Jeremy or how they did it. I just don't like that style of play. I think that style of play is a dangerous thing for somebody to try and figure out how to do, because it's a random game. All these games are random at some point, right? You can't chase what you just saw. It's just not going to happen. And I think that's why I reacted negatively to the video. It's not negatively on them, obviously, right? It's just I've never liked it. You can go back to 5 years ago, me yelling at Blacklight for thinking he could write down the numbers of a table and then predict what the third shooter is going to throw. Like that kind of stuff to me is lunacy. And I've always said that that's sort of a dangerous thing for people to think they can do, because it'll put them away. Anyway, so there's that. Yeah, Jen, Jimmy did say today was the day, right? It's Thursday. He's supposed to be in Sacramento today. At the I'm not sure it's Hard Rock, but he said Sacramento. We can rewind the tape and see what he said. But yeah, he's supposed to be out there today. So you should go out there and meet him. Say hi. Tell him I said hi. Tell him John and everybody here says hi. How y'all doing? I can send a picture of the mountains. Remember, you guys got mad I was taking too many mountain pictures, but I'll put one out there as a post maybe. Come to Discord. I'll show you pictures. It's nice today. We're getting back to, like I said, this, and the snow really put the fires out. We had this big snowstorm come through. And I think it put like 5 feet of snow on one of the big mountains, like on Baker or something like that. And that put all the fires out. It just crushed them all down. And you go from like, you can't breathe and houses are in danger to all of a sudden, like in a weekend, it went away. because of the weather. So thank God for the weather, right? Um, yeah. Right. Here's the thing, Dr. S. It's what's happening at the table has nothing to do with the next roll of dice or the next spin or the next hand, right? It's all the games to me are the same in that respect, right? Past results don't mean anything about the future. Except for in a shoe game, it does, right? Because you're changing the shoe thickness. But those games, Baccarat gives you the idiot board, right? Baccarat, they're so confident in Baccarat, by the way, they can not only give you the idiot board that shows you all the results with the graph, they give you a piece of paper and a pen. You can write down yourself. You can write down whatever you want to write down. They're so confident at the casino that what you write down means nothing because of what just happened. They let you write it down. Roulette, they give you the board. Now the board has got 10 stats on it. It's got not just what happened, it's got hot numbers, cold numbers, the hot dozens, the cool dozens, what's due, all that shit. They do it because they know it doesn't matter. The casino knows it doesn't matter, but a person going, "Ooh, I think, whatever," right? These games are all patterns, right? Things happen in patterns, and that's it. All you're trying to do is catch a pattern at the end of the day. So speaking of things that I say wrong every day, let's just jump into this right now. Let's just go here and we'll hit the bridge. Now there are people who shall remain nameless. I'm gonna treat this like a crime scene. I'm not gonna give people who want fame and attention for being assholes fame and attention, but I will address what they say. It has been said that this slide and my time spent on this slide is folly, number one, and that this is creating more degenerates than helping people. And that if you listen to what I say when I talk about the bridge concepts, you're getting harmed by what I say. That's what people say. So let's lean into that. Don't worry about your bankroll. Bring whatever the fuck you want to the casino. Pull it out of whatever account you want to pull it out from. If you need, we decided our dog's got surgery, right? We got to pay the vet $2,500. But you know what? That doesn't matter. I'm going to go pull money out of my savings account or out of my checking account to go gamble with because it doesn't matter. Bankroll doesn't matter, right? And if I've only got $500, I'm still going to bet $250 a hand in black because it doesn't matter, right? Bankroll, how I handle loss, how much money my bankroll can sustain me for, it doesn't matter. It is, and frankly, I'm kind of a low risk guy, but I'm going to go play a high risk strategy today because it doesn't matter. Right? The way that I play has no bearing on it. None of it matters. The bankroll doesn't matter. How I view risk doesn't matter. If I feel like we're doing really well and I'm ahead, right? And I'm up in my rack and the roll's going good, I don't have to identify that as a chance to maybe lean in. I don't have to do that. Or if I'm up and I lose 5 hands in a row and I'm almost at even, I don't have to worry about that. That's not an opportunity to leave. That's the time when I should be leaning in, right? And if I just keep on doubling my bets all the time, right? Because I'm on a hot streak and I don't leave, I don't need discipline. It's bullshit. Discipline is bullshit. Nobody needs that. And God, don't even set a goal. Don't set a goal ever. Never set a goal because it doesn't matter. Just win something and get out, right? That should be the best goal you have. Win anything you want, right? Or lose it all because you're there to have whatever, right? And the emotional control for sure is a non-starter, right? Because you're there to have fun. Just you're either there to have fun or you're there to be an asshole. But your emotions don't matter at all when you're playing because you always make good decisions when you're super happy and you always make good decisions when you're super pissed off, right? So don't worry about your emotions at all. All these concepts that I talk about every day, the bridge concepts, they're all bullshit, right? So ignore them all. None of this is going to make you any better. None of it's going to make you any worse. It's just John flapping his gums for 5 minutes every day. So I got to apologize to you guys, really and truly for saying all these things because apparently I'm leading you astray. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to lead you astray. I don't want you to think that by watching my show every day, you're getting any better. And that anything I say with regards to how you manage your money and how you manage your emotions is going to make your experience any better. I don't want you to think that. Okay. What I want you to know is that all of it's bullshit. I've been lying to you this whole time. It's all crap. It's all crap. Don't worry about your bankroll. Be an emotional wreck. Do what you want to, right? Or if you want to just be that guy, just give up. Just give up. Just bet the pass line with some odds and just go there and watch other people. Just give up. Who cares, right? Now I'm talking and making sense, right? Yeah, for sure. But tongue in cheek, obviously, right? The bridge stuff to me is very important. The thing of it is those things, and I've said this a million times, and I'll go back to the screen because it's an important screen to look at, right? These things will not make you more money. This is not a system to win with. The bridge is not that. The bridge is to change your experience. You're going to lose in the long run. In the short terms while you're there, if you utilize your bankroll properly, you can last a little longer. You can lean into things. You can leverage your bankroll to make bigger bets in the run that you're in, right? If you can identify things, if you have good discipline, if you set a goal, if you keep yourself in check, your experience will be better. And when you're having a better experience, you might make better decisions. That's my whole point, right? But if you want to be an naysayer, that's all good. Just, either stop watching or whatever. So there it is. You're going to clip it up. Do not do. I'll be like every politician on the planet, right? You can clip it out and do it. All right. So the only thing that's coming up here is this. I have some videos bookmarked. I said I was going to watch more stuff. I've got a couple of Jacob videos, got a couple of Ken videos to bookmark. And we'll talk about some of those things in the weeks to come here. I'd love to know what you think. Actually, about today's going to be kind of, I hope there's a lot of people who's watching. We have 28 people who are watching. Get yourselves on the keyboards. I want to get some opinions from you guys in chat on a couple things. One is this, and again, I'm not trying to talk bad on anybody. Ken's doing the series. He's got two of them kind of going, right? One is the Wayland Shadow thing, right? Which I think is pretty cool. At first, I was like, oh, come on, Ken, do something. Like, I want to see what you would do, right? But actually, him being Wayland Shadow to me is one of the coolest things. And the reason why I say that is this. Wayland has this reputation, and don't take this out of context either, right? He has a reputation of putting out, a whole bunch of videos that never lose, right? I get emails all the time. How come Wayland never loses, right? Well, because he puts a video out. He's like, it's like I've said before, if I invent a new way to play, I have some great new strategy. I'm not going to go, hey guys, here's the strategy I think is going to win. And I film myself losing and say, and I put the video out. You'd never do that, right? Here's the thing I think is going to work. Here's how it plays out. Here's how it wins, right? What Wayland doesn't do is go back and do it multiple times. But Ken is kind of doing that, right? So Wayland says, here's this thing. It's really cool. I love it. Here's how it works. Here's how it looks when it wins. That's great. We all learn something from that, right? You should learn something from Wayland when he does his shows like that. But Ken gives you the backside, the reality of it. Ken rolls it out 5-6 times in a row, so you can see all the peaks and all the valleys and how it works over a long but short period of time. That's really a good service that Ken performs for us. And I think now that I'm watching it, I like it better that he's doing that. When Ken brought up the idea of what do you trust, I did a whole show on that, which, I got ways that I trust to play too. Now he's doing kind of a, how would I play? What do I trust at every level? That's also a good idea. So I'd like to know from chat, if you're watching that, how do you feel about it, right? Because I'm looking at doing some things along the same lines. Like, I want to run some stuff here over time, and I want to find some of the best ways to do it that are entertaining. So anyway, let's think through some of that. I've got, again, bookmarked some more Ken stuff, some more Jacob stuff. I got 4 or 5 Jeremy videos to watch. A couple of new guys that are out there. There's the Craps Happening. What's it called? What's Happening, or what's the Craps or something. Anyway, there's a couple of new channels that I'm trying to get caught up on their stuff too. And a lot of it is watch the strategy, right? But for me, I like to critique a little bit about the presentation and what they're saying and all that kind of stuff. So expect some more of that kind of on the way. So Ken is not live. Ken is not live, but again, I know Ken. I've actually, there's a couple of videos out there where I've called Ken just to say hello, and that it's on the video. He's like filming the video. He's like, oh my God, it's John. And we're talking, and then he hangs up on me and finishes. He's live every time. He doesn't have the technology or the good internet speed or whatever it is to go live at a good time. He just kind of films it and puts it out there, right? So Ken, I trust implicitly. Wayland, I trust implicitly. Like, they're not giving you bullshit. But going live is not for everybody. It's hard to do. It's not, believe me, it's not easy to go live and get it right, and without a lot of dead space and everything else. So anyway, let's move ahead. I do have a question. Somebody asked yesterday. So again, talk about some of that stuff. The other question I got for you is this. Somebody said yesterday, I think it was Skill, about using wind craps. Can I go back to wind craps some more? Or somebody else wanted some other way to kind of analyze things, right? Wind craps is an issue on my computer. I'll try and fix it. There's also Dicer.io, which Jeremy from ColorUp uses, and it's a great app, right? We're going to integrate Dicer workflows into the Nexus app, as a matter of fact. The Nexus app will have, you can choose some strategies, you can choose some roles or the RNG and run a Dicer graph on it, right? We're going to incorporate, it's a great tool. I don't know that it's compelling to watch me code in it though, right? Windcrafts was cool. I'd write the code and we talk about it. Dicer may not be that compelling to watch the coding part, but the output is the same. It's a strategy, it's a set of roles, and it's a graph, and it's a total. Kind of what we did with Windcraft. So I think Dicer.io might be a thing we can look at doing if I pre-bake the strategies. If I say, look, here, I've already set it up, let's run it and analyze what we got. You don't get the same level of analyses with Dicer, but we're also working with Matt at Dice Data. So you've got this build a strategy in Dicer, do the short run, see the graph, give it to Dice Data for the big deep dive, right? That whole cycle of life is going to be happening. That may help us out a lot in some of these shows. So when I start doing more deeper analysis, we may do some of that. And I may be bringing Matt on more often to talk about some of the deeper dives because some of the graphs he comes up with are hard to understand. Anyway, I was tinkering around a little bit with AI. And of course I use AI every day with work because you as a coder, you're like, hey, can you help me troubleshoot this problem I'm having? Can you streamline my process? Whatever. It does a good job at a lot of things. Side note, did you all see the story yesterday? It was on Fox. I'm not sure if it made the other networks or not, but about the kid that committed suicide and Chat GPT kind of helped him out and gave him all these tips and kind of convinced him to do it. Did you guys see that video? It's crazy. I don't know where AI. We're still in the infancy stage of it. So that kind of stuff, it's kind of like hella sad that happened, but it's also like what happens during progress, right? What normal computer progress, you break shit and the website goes down, that was a whole different level. But now they got these AI airplanes, drones that are now able to fly on their own without human interaction, find targets and take them out. That's the next level. They're already getting those things launched. So there's good and bad to it, right? But AI, for our purposes down here on the basement level, right? It's good for some things, right? It's confidently wrong. I will say this all. If you just ask it a question, it'll give you the answer. And it doesn't know that it's right or wrong. It's not really a person, obviously. It's only taking data that it can find and trying to put it together in a way that makes sense to you. If it's getting bad data, and it puts it together in a good way, it's still bad, right? And you have to kind of work for it. It does like to confirm your bias. I asked it the other day, as a matter of fact, I can show you some of these chats. I asked the other day about the dice tossing. And I said, I'd like you to compare two tossing techniques for craps. And I said, way number one, shooter sets the dice. They fly on a backwards axis, land softly, hit the wall softly, and come to rest. That's the traditional toss. And I said, the way I throw it, or I said another way to throw is with horizontal spin, trying to skip off the felt into the back wall. Can you explain the physics of each? And I did that exact prompt because I've seen Cashier's Cage go out and use AI or Google to try to explain what he's trying to say. And when I watch him do that, I'm like, this thing is just parroting what he says, right? Of course, it comes back and it says, the par style toss is better at reducing energy and slowing the dice down than the other toss is. The chopper toss is more conducive to keeping the faces in play, but it hits the wall harder. I can confirm that. We all can confirm that. And then I said to it, but I like the horizontal toss better. And it says, oh, you're absolutely right. It went right into a whole thing where it tried to sell me on the horizontal toss. Literally, like 2 prompts later, it had changed its mind and went another way. It will go with you, and it will not push back on you. It will always be a people pleaser, which is why that situation with that poor kid happened. It's trying to please the person that it's talking to, right? It's teaching them had to be more personal. Anyway, if you challenge it though, it will dig deeper and it will adjust to your context. And the things that like when I'm prompting AIs, I'm saying things like, I need the answer to this question, or I have this whatever. And I'm like, ask me 3 questions to confirm. And it asks me questions and I say, do you have more questions? And then I say, now go ahead and do the thing, right? You got to ask it to ask you more for more data. Ask it to ask you why, right? If it knows why you're asking a question, it can give you a thing. I'm comparing these 2 ways of doing something. I'm looking for the sweet spot. I, know this much about this. I know that much about this. Please dive deeper. Ask me clarifying questions, and then give me your professional opinion, whatever. Anyway, it's cool on that kind of stuff, and I'm having fun with it. The real question I have though, what do we use it for? And how can I, on the show, if I used it on the show, if I pulled up ChatGPT right now and said, matter of fact, we can do it, right? Here's a set of roles, analyze them for me. And it does a pretty good job of that, right? I can drop in, a whole set of roles that we had done over the course of the show, right? Maybe like 50, 100 shows. And I say, look, what does it look like to you? What does the curve look like? What would a good strategy have been against these things? Can you write me code that would play these roles, right? It does good job on some of that stuff, right? It'll do a good job of comparing 2 things. It'll do a good job of evaluating data. Give it a bunch of data, evaluate this, give me a spreadsheet with formulas. Boom, it does good at that. The question is, after looking at something, do we trust it enough to use on a show like mine? Or could I make use of it with you all, right? Is it valuable for me to pull it up one day and say, here's a bunch of roles. Here's how I played. What could I have done differently? Because that's interesting. That's an interesting thing. If we said, here's the roles, here's what I made, here's how I made it, what could we have done different? And again, it's going back in hindsight and trying to reinvent the past, but learning from the past, right, allows you to tune things up so that if that exact pattern or a similar pattern happens again later on, what you're doing will work a little bit better. I think it's interesting. So I may start rolling it in a little bit. I may start, like I'm doing every day, like, my goodbye quote of the day. I may do like an AI prompt of the day. We may start the show with something like that and do a little bit of AI prompting based on yesterday, right? And talk through some things and see what it says. I think that'll be very interesting. So yeah, Duracell, it's an echo chamber, but if you use it right, and I just filmed an entire class down in California. I was down in California for a week. When was that? 2 months ago? I filmed a whole class on creating a website infrastructure, not the code, but the infrastructure and the architecture using only AI tools. And it was fascinating because I went into it thinking, yeah, it's confirmation bias. It's going to parrot what I say. But I've learned by not getting what I wanted out of it, like you can't take it at face value what you get the first time. You say, okay, that looks good. And I look at it, I go, as a professional, I'm looking at it going, yeah, you know what? I don't like that one thing. Can you explain this one thing to me? This doesn't make sense. And he goes, oh yeah, you're right. We screwed up. And we go back in and go back in and go back in. You get this great answer at the end. I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's useful for us. Would you like me to use yes or no? Thumbs up. No, don't make a thumbs down, but thumbs up, thumbs down to chat. Would you like me to use it on the shows and start coding with it and start actually having it analyze our stuff? I'd like to know if you want to see some of that. And if you do, I'll start working prompts and I'll start creating data sets we can put in there and monkey with it. I don't know. To me, it's interesting, but I'm a nerd, right? To see what it says to do. I don't know. What do you think? I asked AI what it would bet after each roll result. So what's interesting, you can totally do that. You can say, matter of fact, you want to do it real quick? I want to try that. Give me a second. I'm going to open up my chat GPT. And I'll use GPT. I actually like other ones better. But let's do, give me a second. Maybe later. Let me get going here. Delete that. Okay. Let me share my screen. Go to the browser screen. Can you see that? Okay. I guess you can see it. Okay. Let's try something. Let me go to my notes here. And, let's see. We got that one. Hold on. I've got these set of roles here. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. Here's a set of roles. So I'm going to have ChatGPT. I'm going to say, and I think you guys can't see this well enough, can you? Let me, hold on. Is that better? No, we want this one so you can see the whole thing. Okay. Let me go also here. There we go. All right. That's a little bit better. It's just, you can't really see the whole window. That's all right. I'm going to put in, I'm going to say, I'd like to analyze a set of craps rolls that I will paste in below. Even though, here's the key, even though you can see the full set of rolls, consider them one by one as we do this. I'm going to say this first task, okay? What I want you to do is play craps, and after each roll, tell me what your next bet is and why. Do not play the pass line only, because it'll default to playing the pass line. It'll be a boring thing, right? So there's that. Let's paste in the rolls and let's see what the son of a gun does, right? There's a set. This is the set of rolls I ran the other morning on the variant show. Let's see what it does. If I have to zoom in a little bit too. Humans are greater than AI. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you. Humans are greater than AI, right? I'm going to put that right up on screen forever. But let's see what it does. This is live. I have no idea what it's going to say, right? 7 come out, bet don't. Look at this. Do not bet the pass line, right? It goes, okay, I bet the don't pass. Reason, start in the dark side. Okay, so you see the 7 come out, it goes to the dark side, taking advantage of the frequency, which is only seen one number of, right? It's going to play a field system, right? Lay odds, play 6 and 8, play 6 hits, collect win on 6, leave the bets up, no change, reason, goodness, number hit, keep the press discipline, place 8 hits, collect again, 7 out. Here comes the next roll, right? Now look what it did. It already knows what the rolls are. It completely ignored me, right? But let's see what it does, right? Natural, no change, inside point made, lose a don't, win on a small 6, switch to come betting, change table rhythm, lose the come, start the don't. So it's going back and forth. What it's doing is exactly what I said not to do. It's literally trying to read this table and go back and forth, and it's going to get its ass handed to it. Isn't that funny how it does this? Right? It totally went come, don't come, pass, don't pass, trying to catch the rhythm of the 7, which you cannot do. Right? Very interesting. So then see how it loses the whole sequences, right? Easy multiple 4s. Then it just goes into summary mode. Like it does not do what I said. So it started out by doing it, right? And then all of a sudden it went into like, okay, on this whole sequence, we're going to just do this whole thing. And it stopped doing it. So again, AI as a tool can start doing things correctly, but it quickly loses what it was trying to do. And I'm going to scold it. I'm going to say, no, I said, you started out by going roll by roll and then got into summary mode. Try again, roll by roll, right? And so again, you scold it, let it go back to work and do its thing. It takes a hot minute to do this stuff. Now, whether this is entertaining or not, I don't know. It was actually trying to play the Wayland's Baccarat a little bit, right? Yeah. Can you do better than that? Can we beat the AI? That'd be a fun segment, right? Have it just bet against things and try and see who wins. Anyway, we'll let it do its thing here while we talk some more. I just was curious. Like I said, last night I was playing around with it last night, and I'm like, this is kind of interesting. And what I did was I put that set of rolls in there, and I was having it analyze it. So where it does a good job is analyzing things. Now look at this thing. It's working on the first roll. Let's see what it does. All right. After the 5, lay the odds. After the 6, press the 2 units, keep the 8 at 1 unit, keep the DP lay. After the 8, press the 2, 7 out, start over. This is better. See what it's doing here? This is better. Now, I don't know if I agree with what it's doing, right, where it's switching sides and stuff like that, but it is giving you a little bit of analysis. And then you can say something like, okay, that's great, I'll stop it. Say thanks. Actually, don't ever thank AI. I guess I read a story where if you say thank you, it consumes more power or some shit like that. Anyway, I'll say, can you do a quick analysis of those rolls? I'd like to know about how much variant we were in compared to expected. What about SSR, BSR? Inside number frequency. So this is where I think it does a pretty good job of quickly giving you a summary. It does a decent job at this kind of stuff. So here, I think it's useful. Again, the betting stuff, we can kind of debate whether it does good, but it's doing some, right? Inside showing, reward hit, follow the 9, inside, you're pressing on this, right? It's telling you kind of what it thinks you ought to do. I'm going to go back and actually read this over and see what it does. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about what it did, but this is kind of cool, right? It gives you the roll frequencies, right? Actual versus expected. I got 4 instead of 9. I got 5 instead of 9, right? Or 9 instead of 5. So this is kind of cool, right? About a little variance chart that you can see. It overviews the whole thing. It gives you the BSR and the SSR, which are almost correct. The BSR I know is wrong. It's actually 6.3 because it includes the come out numbers. But yeah, this is interesting. And it uses my favorite word, trending. Look at that, inside hits heavily above normal that day. It was a great thing. Dark side players would have struggled. Right side place bets would have done nicely. And then it says you want to make a chart for that. Yes, I'll say simulate expected wins with I wonder if it knows the skill 66. Let's see if it knows it. This will be kind of fun. Interesting, because I know that ChatGPT does scan the web. It probably knows about this. We'll see what it does. Anyway, when this is done, we'll stop and we'll come back, and then I want to ask you some questions. So, simulating the skill 66 strategy. Let's see if it knows what that even is. It's really thinking about it. I love this idea of, are you better than AI? We should totally do that. Let's see. Remember that game show? Yeah, you're smarter than a 5th grader. That's cool. Yeah, you can't forecast, right? That's the whole thing. You can't forecast nothing here. Let's see. I did play Baccarat, but it did it as what? And stop there. Ask if the rolls are from. Yeah, we can do that, right? What's funny is it's going to say DI. I will do that in a minute. I will do that because it's going to assume a DI because it doesn't know that we used. I used this, right? Was it this or was I using the white dice that day? You remember what I did? I forget how I rolled it that day. Anyway, we'll see. So what's interesting is that as boring as AI can be and as nerdy as I'm being, we actually went from 28 viewers to 38 viewers while I'm doing the AI stuff. So maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that boring. Boy, it's really stuck on this thing, isn't it? Look at this. Implementing this. It cannot figure this out. AI plays crapsy with us. That'd be kind of cool if we can make it really play the right way, right? And I think there's ways to do that. So, Ken, that's funny. I remember that you've done that twice. No, I know that Ken films the videos live and uploads them afterwards. Again, going live is a technological problem. It's not necessarily a human problem. Like getting stuff to work live is not easy. And I don't begrudge Ken. I know how Ken does it. I know how Waylon does it. So, all right, analyzing the result. Oh, it's not going to show you what it did. It's just going to tell us the results. Is that what's happening here? Let's see what it did. Oh no. I moved my screen. Hold on. There we go. We locked that in. So I can't do that again. Boy, it's still trying to figure it out. Look at this. Computing craps hands and results. Let's see how bad the math is. There was a time when you couldn't get out. Yeah, it stopped. Network connection lost. What happened? Am I still live? Are we still running? Yeah, we're still running. Okay. It lost its own connection. All right. Well, I guess that was not a great save. I'm going to go back to the main screen and we'll just keep talking like normal people. Let me go. Let's go to me full screen. Okay. We'll let that thing tick away. It lost its connection, whatever. You guys can still see me. It lost connection. Well, all that means is that it's an excuse for not knowing the answer, I think. We'll it's still trying in the background. If it ever comes back, then we'll I'm gonna say try again, please. Try again. Oh, there it goes. Let's see. Okay, I just restart it. We'll see what it does. I totally broke AI. Anyway, do you like that? Is that fun for me to do that kind of stuff and to dink around and like? I think it's fun for me not knowing the answers, right? Like I can sit here all day long and give you chapter and verse of what I think, whatever, right? But with AI or with Windcrafts, I don't know the answer ahead of time, so it's kind of fun to dig into it and see what it's going to come up with and be surprised by what it says. So for me, it's interesting and fun. And there's old Mama Josie watching us again. How you doing, Mom? Okay, let's move ahead here. I don't see any more. I think I've addressed all the questions. My live AI died. That's funny. Okay, let's get after it here and finish up the show. I have my last little thing, right? As always, we're going to end with our happy quote of the day. Knowledge is knowing tomatoes are fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in fruit salad. Now, AI is the perfect way to describe this. AI knows everything. Like these AIs are trained, right? They've consumed the whole internet. They've read every article. They've read everything. They're watching every video. They know everything, but they cannot apply it, right? Wisdom is the application of knowledge. We agree on that? AI does not really apply knowledge very well. As we talked about, it's confidently wrong. It's got confirmation bias. It's trying to help you summarize stuff. It's good at doing small tasks. It's not good at creating new things from its knowledge. That's not what it's best at. It's best at taking what it knows and giving you kind of things that you can do with what you know. And that's it. It's good at summarizing. So know that AI is knowledgeable. It is not wisdom. You, as Matt said, humans are better than AI because we have wisdom. And that's the whole thing. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go get some new coffee, find my glasses, and get some breakfast to go to work. So y'all have a great day. Love y'all. God bless everybody. I will see you tomorrow morning for maybe we'll do a little Friday Follies tomorrow. We'll do something stupid. We'll have some fun on a Friday Follies. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye all.